Hello, and welcome back to Bimbler's Ironman Challenge, where a decidedly average gamer tries to make Albion Online even harder than it really should. Okay, so today's video is going to be less of an update on what I've been doing with my Ironman character, and more of an update on why I'm doing it and why I've got some of the rules in place, such as, and the one I'm focusing on today is the use of black market and why I don't use the black market. The reason I want to discuss this is when I first did the Iron Man character, I did see that quite a few other people who were doing it had said that they would use the black market as it involved no player interaction with anyone else, and therefore that made them self-sufficient, and that was sort of within the ethos of an Iron Man character. And for me, I didn't want to use it because I thought it may well be too profitable. So, with that in mind, I decided to carry out a test and see how much money I would make as an Iron Man character with my rules, and then compare that to what I would have made as a normal character, and then what I would have made if I had the rule that I could use the black market. And as you can see, I'm playing on Bimbler, not Iron Bimbler, which is one of my other characters. And the reason for this is I don't want Iron Bimbler to use the black market, so I wouldn't be able to carry the test out effectively. So I'm using Bimbler, and I'm going to go through a load of tier 5 yellow zone dungeons, which aren't the most efficient. Reason I chose to do that was so there was no interruptions, no ganking. I could just get a clean run and get some statistics down. Well, we did a total of 13 dungeons. Took us a couple of hours, probably 2.5 hours to get that done, which is about what I would expect for me. I'm sure there's people out there that can do them quicker, but given some of the time traveling in between and actually trying to find them sometimes, that was reasonable. But we did 13, and what I'll do now is I'll go through what we got, and also afterwards I will total up the amount of silver that was dropped and the amount we got from bags, and that will give us the total for the Iron Man character. Then I'll add up that total plus the value of all the drops that we got, which will give us the normal value, what a normal player would expect to get. And then I will go through how much I would have got if I had gone to the black market and sold the items there. Okay, so here we are on the last boss of the dungeon run we did, and well, in all honesty, we didn't have much luck. I mean, this is a purple chest, and we didn't get many. We got hardly any, in fact, and we got no legendaries, which I guess you can't really expect to get them in as fewer as 13 runs, but we didn't really get much luck. This would actually have been a decent run for the Iron Man character because we got far more in silver drops than we normally would, and far less in the loot drops. Which that you have to go with what happened, because although I feel like we probably got a little bit unlucky with the amount of loot we got, this is one of the better chests, actually. We got some decent loot in terms of items, mainly the heavy crossbow. But mostly we didn't do very well. So if you look at the loot tab here, that there's nothing of real value there. There's a couple of tier 6 items, and that's about it. And I think the total value there is sort of 470k. But we'll go into that in more detail in a second. Okay, so the next thing we did was we totaled up the amount of silver bags that dropped from the chests, and added to that the amount we just gathered from the mobs, what dropped on the floor. This was a little bit more complicated than it needed to be because we sold a couple of items in the marketplace, and we had to take that off the total to get an accurate figure. And that was the amount that we consider we earned as an Iron Man. And then to that, we added the estimated market value, and that was the amount that we would consider to be normal. And then we jumped onto our bear and we went over to Carlion. And then we went and sold all of the loot that could be sold in the black market. Okay, so as we can see, as the Ironman character with just the silver, we make 184k. And if we were a normal player and we sold all of those items, we would make 654k. Quite a lot more, more than treble. So that's a considerable amount more. And finally, we have the Ironman character under the rule set that other people use. That's the reason I put it in quotation marks to show that it's under a different rule set to what I'm using. And that comes out at 638k and also leaves us with some of the items that you can't sell on the black market. So the interesting thing is that playing under the rule set where you can use the black market means that in terms of earning silver, it's hardly any different from playing normal. Which, although I thought that using the black market would be a lot easier in terms of gaining silver and therefore buying premium, etc. I thought it would be a lot better than obviously not using it, but I didn't consider it would be so close to the normal value. It's not far off identical. So this means, can you really call it an Ironman? In my opinion, I think not. I don't really think that using the black market, if you're using the black market, I just don't think that's an Ironman. The whole concept of an Ironman character is to make things really hard on yourself. That's why their name's Ironman. And if you're able to earn that amount of money, almost identical to what a normal character would, then for me, that's just making it too easy on yourself. I do, though, however, think it is still a very interesting way of playing, because what you're doing is you're being 100% self-sufficient, and I think that's great. I think, that was something I did on Bimbler when I initially made him. I made him as a 100% self-sufficient character, very similar to what I'm doing, although not quite as hard. It's been a lot harder with Iron Bimbler, in all honesty. So, in conclusion, for me, if you want to play an Ironman character, if you want to get that huge sense of achievement with every goal that you set out for yourself in Albion Online, you mustn't use the black market. I just think it makes it way, way too easy to be called an Ironman. When you just get that first month's premium, it is such a slog to get it. You really feel like you've achieved something really good. Whereas if you're earning treble the money, I mean, that literally, it's a third as hard. And honestly, these statistics, I honestly think they were a little bit favourable in terms of what happened with the dungeons, because I didn't get very good item drops. So they actually could be far more beneficial than it appears on these statistics. So anyway, what I want to say is, if you want to play an Ironman character, don't use the black market, because I just think it makes it too easy. You're just going to be playing almost like a normal character. Only difference is you'll be self-sufficient. So if you want to play as a self-sufficient character, yeah, use the black market, use that as a tool to make money, and I think that would be great fun also. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Slightly different, more of me trying to explore the concept of Iron Man, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. Not very much action, maybe a little bit too much me talking, not enough me doing, but there you go. But if you did like it, send me a like or subscribe. That'd be greatly appreciated. And I'll see you soon. Bye.